What if I told you there was a simple formula that could tell you exactly how much money you need to retire? This formula is really simple, and it's just one number, the number 4. This number can define when you're going to be free from working, never having to work again, and enjoying the rest of your years in retirement. Let me show you how the 4% rule works, and how we can use the 4% rule to calculate exactly what you need to retire. The 4% rule originates from William Bengen, a 1990s financial planner. William looked into decades of market research, and William found that if you withdraw 4% of your investments every year, adjusted for inflation, that investment portfolio can last you 30 years or more. Now, William's study hypothesizes that most of your investments are within stocks and bonds. Your goal is to live off 4% each year, with the rest continuing to grow after inflation. So to start, you need to figure out how much you want to live on per year. So what I want you to do is work out how much money you need every single year to live on. That number could be 30,000, 40,000, or even 100,000. Now, once you've got that number, you need to multiply that number by 25. So for example, if you wanted to live on £40,000 a year, you times that by 25, giving you a total of 1 million. This is what's known as your financial independence number. This is the amount that you need financially to live on 4% comfortably every single year without that money running out. Now, this number can seem slightly large and quite worrying because all of a sudden you're into the millions or into the hundreds of thousands. Now, it's worth noting that the Retirement and Living Standards Agency suggests that for a comfortable lifestyle within the UK, you need roughly between £40,000 and £50,000. Now, some things to consider behind the 4% rule are the following. William hypothesized that the 4% rule would have a mixture between stocks and bonds. Now, historically, stocks have done fairly well over the last 10 years, but bonds, on the other hand, haven't performed very well. Another assumption that William hypothesizes is that the market would have average returns. Now, average market returns doesn't mean anything to me, so take that with a pinch of salt. Now, the 4% rule also takes into consideration that retirement will be 30 years. And with longer living ages of people in the UK, more and more people are extending their life, which is a great thing, but it means that they're going to need more money for their retirement. If you plan to retire early, like most of us do, you might need 35, 45, or even 55 years of retirement planning. So how do we actually get to the financial independence number? Now, the first is to understand your baseline. If you have expenses, like everybody does, you need to understand where that money's going and is it serving a purpose. The second point is to invest consistently. Index funds and ETFs are a great way to start, and if you have a higher risk tolerance, then crypto could be another way forward as well. Number 3 is to reinvest any dividend that you get. Receiving dividends from holding stock can be a way of treating yourself because you made good financial decisions, but real wealth is built over time, and any dividends you get should be treated as more money towards your investments. And finally, once you are retired, it's to stick to that 3 or 4% rule. Now, some years you might spend slightly more at 5 or 6%. It just means that for the next year or two, you might need to spend less. But one thing that you want to consider is that you don't run out of money when you retire. Now, we need to consider the following. The 4% rule was created in the 1990s. One of the major things that can throw it off is high inflation. During times of high inflation, people have less money and they are stricter with their cash. It means that they might not put money into their investments and also trim down their savings. Having said that, it's more important to buy inflation-proof assets now more than ever. The 4% rule isn't a promise, it's more of a framework that you can work towards. Some people have called it a financial freedom formula. Personally, I see it more of a baseline to work towards. Understanding the financial freedom number that I need in my retirement gives me an idea of how I'm going to get there. My advice is find what your financial freedom number is. Once you have that number, you can start working towards that in a systematic way. If it's 1 million, if it's 2 million, no problem. At least it gives you a baseline and should motivate you towards ending up in a goal where you have enough money for your retirement. Because one thing's for sure, the money that the government are going to give us when we retire, if they give us any money, isn't going to be enough. Now more than ever, we need to take control of our financial situation. That's through planning ahead, working towards a goal, and trying our best to invest in assets that will one day give us a return in the long term. If you found this video helpful, maybe you should check out my video, How Much Should You Have Saved at Every Single Age? It might even help you figure out what 4% you need. My name's David, and thanks for watching.